Hi everyone, it's Mandy from Designs by Miss Mandy, and I'm back again to show you how to use gradients with text. So a few weeks ago I did a tutorial on how to use gradients with shapes, and today I'm kind of expanding upon that with typography. So you'd think it would be the same, but there are a few differences I'm going to show you today. So I already have some text laid out. We're going to do two different styles. This first one, I'm just using this kind of frilly script font. It's called Angelica, and I'm going to show you how to add a gradient to it. So if I go over to my gradient panel, if you don't have that over in your toolbar, you can go to Window and then select Gradient, and it'll appear. And I try to select the gradient. It doesn't do anything. It just leaves it as black. And so what we're going to do is instead of just clicking on that, we need to go to the Appearance panel. And if you don't have Appearance, once again, you can go to Window and click on Appearance. And what you're going to need to do is press this little button here to add a fill. And now that you've done that, it shows up right here as a fill, and you can select a whole slew of things. Or we can create our own custom gradients now. So with the fill selected, we're going to go back up to our gradient panel and create our own custom gradient. And so I kind of went over a few basic things about this in my last tutorial, but I'll show you again. So we can start by selecting our colors, and then using the eyedropper tool. So this is how I like to do it, at least. I have these colors over here that I've pre-selected, these color swatches, and that's the colors I'm going to use in this gradient. So I have one of my squares selected in my gradient. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, which is over here, or you can select just I for the shortcut, and then make sure to hold Shift. And as you do that, and you select it, you can see that that color appears in my letters. I'm going to do that again with the black and select one of my other colors, and then I'm going to go back to my gradient, and if you click anywhere in the gradient slider, you can get another color swatch, and so I'm going to get 4 of them because that's how many I want, and select my other 2 colors. Once again, using the eyedropper tool, holding Shift, and then selecting them. So there you have it. And then once you've done that, you can do all the other things that you can do with gradients. Change the angle, slide these over if you want to make certain selections colors bigger than others. And what's really cool about doing it this way, there's a couple other ways to add gradients to text, but what's cool about doing it this way is if I ever want to go back in and edit the letters, I can do that. Like if I want to go back in and say change the font alternate and change to a different font alternate, I can do that. And my gradient will just follow along with me. So it's pretty cool to be able to have that option. So there you go. So that's some basic things about gradients. One other cool thing I'm going to show you is how to add a gold gradient effect. So I've got this word here, bling. Thought it was fitting. And this font is called Bebas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Once again, I'm not the font designer, so I don't really know for sure. But I'm going to go up here, and once again, if I click the gradient, nothing works because I need to go to the Appearance panel first and then create a new fill. So now that I have that selected, once again I go up to the gradient panel and I can start working with my gradient. So for this one I only want 3 colors, so I'm going to trash one of them, and I'm just going to start selecting from my color swatch. These are going to create my gold color. They don't look quite like gold right now, but they will in a minute. Once again, I'm just using the eyedropper tool and holding Shift as I select all these. I'm going to change this to 90 degrees. And right now it looks more like a sunset, but I'm going to add in some more colors, and If you click in the gradient slider, wherever you click, it's going to add that color. So it's adding this kind of medium brown color there where I clicked. So I want to add a couple more light shades mixed in, maybe another dark one. And I'm going to start putting these into my lettering. So the thing to remember when you're making something look metallic is that you want to have the light colors and the dark colors like really close together to create these little, so you can move these little diamond shapes on the top closer together, and that'll create a much harder gradient line. Not something you want to do with every gradient, but if you want to get like a really shiny look to make it look more metallic, it works really nicely. So anyway, so you can play with that, and now we've got kind of a gold shiny look. So one other thing that I like to do whenever I'm making something look metallic or gold is to add an outline around the word that also has the gradient. So how we can do that is we can come once again over to our appearance panel, and now we're going to add a new stroke. So this button right here. And then before we do anything, you're going to have to move the stroke behind the fill. So just drag it behind the fill. Select it, and then let's see, we'll make this 17 points. Then we're going to go back up to our gradient, and we can just use the same gold gradient that we were using. Change it once again to 90 degrees. And now it's matching exactly, which is not what we want. Maybe we'll do like -90 to make it backwards. That looks much better. But once again, you can kind of come back in, adjust it to be where you want. Maybe you want this outline to be a little bit darker, so you get rid of a couple of the lighter colors. And just play with your slider. There you go. And in the end, you have a really cool text effect. And this is completely editable as well, so if you decide you wanted to change it to money or just a $sign or something, it still has that cool text effect that you were using before. So there you have it. So there you have it. There's some tips and tricks on using gradients. Be sure to check out my previous video on using gradients with shapes if you had a hard time following along. Thanks for watching.